Was that a big moment for Colton Herta? Oh my gosh, Colton Herta upside down. Wow.
All good.
Not even come to a stop, and he's on the
all good.
radio.
Certainly, I'm glad he's saying all good.
Just wait for safety to get here. Just stay strapped in.
And after seeing Colton's crash, I had a chance to see him actually last night, and checked in with him right away and run through my 2 or 3 questions that I wanted to know about. And then, like any driver, you think, that's not gonna happen to me. I don't think my wife saw it, so I'm glad that she's been occupied with the horse show and hasn't seen that. He's fine. We're good. Cars are safe. You just chase it out of your head and go on.
It's 4:05, May 29th, the day of the Indianapolis 500. There's definitely nervousness. It's more of a anxiousness than anything else. I mean, we work all year for today. You know, obviously a guy like Jimmie has the experience to know what the big picture is, even though he's not got it in Indy car. He's won the Brickyard 4 times. He knows this is a long race. So I'm not worried about that. My concerns are always the people around you. You don't know what someone else is going to do and how someone else might ruin your day. And this race is so special. You know, there's 33 guys out there that think they're going to win today. There's 33 guys out there that theoretically have a shot, because this race, there's no perfect playbook to win this race. This race will change your life, and it's not over till it's over. This is the beginning of the day where we find out whether we make history today.
It's really tense, and I think it's probably amplified because they know that if everything goes right, that they have the potential for a really big qualifying day and probably a really big race day. So that amplifies everything. You don't want to be the team or the driver that screws something up, you know. It's insane. It's insane. We've all been saying, we're like, is Jimmie Johnson going to win this race? Jimmie Johnson doesn't need to win the Indy 500 to say anything about his career, but if Jimmie Johnson won the Indy 500, I mean, only AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti have won both the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500. And if Jimmie Johnson were to join that group, I mean, nobody can ever question anything about Jimmie Johnson's career. Indy was his thing when he was a child. He and his father watched, you know, the Indy 500. Now, for Jimmie to be here with his father spotting, like, I don't know that he ever, in his wildest dreams, could have envisioned or manifested what he has achieved and that he has actually gotten here.
My grandfather loved all forms of racing, and you know, the big moments like the Indianapolis 500 were big enough to keep me on the couch with my dad and my grandfather. That's what I remember from my childhood and watching Andretti, Jones, Foyt, you know, the list goes on, and to now have a chance at that does bring a lot of pride for me.
Yeah, oh yeah, baby, Indy, baby, you're here in live. Woo, Indianapolis Speedway, it's on like Donkey Kong. Let's do it, let's get live, baby. Woo! Yeah!
Jimmie Johnson
and slides into 4th place to be the best rookie. 232.398 miles per hour, the 4-lap average.
This whole like qualifying day, you can get like, you know, if everything goes to plan, it's great. So my 2 little girls have never been here before, and they're here with my dad today. So I believe I was 7 when my dad took me here for the first time, and my oldest is 7.
We've been coming here a while. Yeah, and I remember when she was trying to race, she didn't make the team, and we sat up in the stands and watched, and she said, "It's the last year I'm sitting up here in the stands." No, she's done a good job being able to come here and race. But do your passion. Now we're trying to groom a couple more. Maybe. You mentioned something about shifting. Yeah. It wasn't quite right. I didn't quite get all that.
When I would hold 5th, I would get the tone pretty quick on the backstretch, and it was just in the tone for like 2/3 of the show. First 2 laps, no. Second 2 laps, yes. And then I tried to drop in the back of the car, and some short areas I got it, I completely forgot. I was like, oh, let's make sure it's up. Just so much going on. You're thinking through, do I need wedge? Do I need front bar, rear bar? Oh, damn, the weight check.
I didn't even know what gear I was in. Like, Chris, am I in 5th? Yep. Okay.
I think that's fun.
It will be more fun. You watch. Now, if you're gonna kick my ass from the pole, you ain't fucking moving me one
spot. Don't nickel and dime you for like 5th. Okay. Let's go. This is going. All right, buddy.
Next round, this is what real athletes want. When it comes right down to it, this is what real people, real competitors want this. True competitors want this head to head. Right? That's why we do what we do. That's why we do this.
So the details matter now.
You know what to do.
How about this guy, Jeff? This guy has won 7 NASCAR Cup Series championships. It is Jimmie Johnson in the Carvana Honda, but he has never experienced anything like this. This is it. Jimmie Johnson has already gone through 1 phase of qualifying to get to this point. Oh, look out, he almost lost it.
Huge understeer, gets right up to the wall. That's the biggest moment I think we've seen all month.
Oh, man, that was close. Close.
You can hear him pedaling the throttle, Townsend. He is not as comfortable now.
The run to the yard of bricks for Jimmie Johnson. It won't be the numbers that he wanted to see.
No matter how this ends up, he's starting within the first 4 rows of his first Indianapolis 500, and that's something to be proud of.
I just don't have a lot of experience with the boost being turned up and low downforce. And frankly, I just covered more ground than I thought I would and ran out of room to the wall. There's fear that runs through my veins, through all of our veins on track, but I think when something happens and we get away with it, we're really good at brushing it off our shoulders and not overthinking it. You know, and I think when big wrecks happen and moments do happen, you know, I sit with it. I think I need to respect it and sit with it. But man, it's real easy to let them slide off your back when you save it.
You said at the beginning of the month you just want a chance. Does it feel like you have a chance?
I do. I really do feel like I have a chance. Maybe we got a touch aggressive here trying to advance into the Fast 6. But I'm just so proud to be a part of this team. And
I think we have made a lot of right decisions this week that has got Jimmie up to speed, got him comfortable with the car. You know, I think as a group, we've all pulled together, shared information. We've all got one goal in mind, and that's to win this race.
Okay, let's head upstairs to the playroom, guys. How about we do Hot Wheels? Since you have that set up, get some cars out. Let's do Hot Wheels. My first interest in motor racing came from my dad. He was an old motorcycle racer. He raced professionally, and then he met and married my mom, and she said, you need to get a real job. So he did. When I was about 7, he bought a go-kart for himself to race and drugged my sisters and I along to the racetrack. And I saw a bunch of other little boys doing it, and I said, hey, I want to give that a shot. I fell in love with racing the second I got in a go-kart. Who drives a Carvana car?
Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmie Johnson. I knew right from the beginning that I wanted to work in professional motor racing. I worked my way up through the ranks of motor racing. And along the way, I mean, I was female. There definitely wasn't any other females turning wrenches in the paddock in those days. Whoa. It did a wheelie? Hopefully the Carvana car doesn't do any wheelies this season. You know, when I first started in this business and I was female, people never really thought that I would make that work the same way I did, and I didn't want to miss out on having kids, right? And part of that was figuring out how I was going to make all of this work, and I'm kind of the first one doing it, so I just kind of write the rules as I go, and it's worked out pretty good so far, so. The Indy 500 is super cool. I was really nervous my first Indianapolis 500, so I don't know if you can rule that out. I mean, it'll be an amazing experience for him. He's with a really seasoned team. Even though it's his first, it's for sure not anybody else's, and he'll have good guidance to work through that on what he needs to, but he's a champion, so he knows how to do it.
I was kind of a big nerd in school. When I got out of high school, I decided to join the military and follow my dad's footsteps of being a helicopter mechanic. It's just absolute rush. I loved it. I mean, you got a lot of people's lives in your hand when you're working on them. I was in Camp Humphreys, Korea. Korea was 15 hours ahead, so when the 500 come on, it'd be about 2 a.m. So I would set my alarm, get up, watch the race, and then go into work. So just my passion was that. To be able to do it, it's just a dream come true.
I went to the Canadian Grand Prix when I was 13 or 14. I hopped a fence and got into the paddock and went to every single team and said, hey, I'm here to help out. I'll do anything you need. And one of the British teams said, do you speak French? And since I'm from Montreal and everyone speaks English and French there, I said, yeah, I sure do. They said, well, you could help us translate some of this stuff. And then after a day, they said, do you mind wiping this down or fixing this for us? And I kind of became a gopher for that race weekend. And the following weekend, they asked me if I could travel to France. So I was like, sure. I flew out to France and they let me help out. And it just progressed into the team manager at the time said, hey, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I'd really like to be a mechanic. And he looked at me, shook his head, and he said, you're going to be a lifer. I had the fortune of doing all the big races, or a majority of the big races in the world. Daytona 500, the Indy 500, the Monaco Grand Prix, and we had 200,000–300,000 people at some races. You thought, how could there be something bigger than this? And then the first day I came to the Speedway for an Indy 500, I couldn't believe it. Indy takes everything that's great from all of them, throws it into one pot, and then you're surrounded by 400,000, 500,000 people. There's an energy that you don't get anywhere else. All of it is just unbelievable.
For my mom, you're her favorite driver in the world. You're actually her favorite person in the world besides my dad.
God.
I gotta be honest, you were one of my heroes growing up, man. It was a real. And can I have a picture? I'm gonna act like a little schoolgirl for a minute.
Don't let the naysayers get to you. You're doing a great job. Thank you. I believe in you. Good luck on Sunday.
I'd been asking my parents for years to bring me, and then finally at age 13, they brought me to the 40th running, 1956. Tomorrow will be my 67th consecutive. With my son over there, my son-in-law, grandson behind me. You know, it's really a family thing.
This is my 43rd time. I'm gonna be here forever. This is my daughter, right here and here, and that's my granddaughter. Wow. Yeah, 1956 was the first year. Never missed a race.
You almost missed the birth of your first child, too, to be down here, remember?
Oh, yeah, almost got a divorce over that one.
Is there any way we could get some more color on the car so I can see it?
Yep.
Because if he's behind somebody...
Right, you can't see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, I don't want to mess up.
Yeah, no, it's so good.
You know, when a kid watching it with my dad, before Jimmy was ever thought of, you know, this was always his favorite race. And I just wish he was still around to come to it with me. It'd be really special. I guarantee every one of these drivers, their dad took them to races since they're little kids. You know, so we're all like the same kind of people. Yeah, I've been taking him since he was 5. And he had the same problem then. He couldn't turn. He'd only go straight and he'd go out and he'd fall over. You get the racing in your blood, you can't get it out.
But just to kind of see the place still and calm helps me just respect this place even more. You know, I can only imagine what it's going to look and sound like tomorrow. Where I sit today, especially taking a couple years off from NASCAR, you know, I can look back on my mindset. I would have some advice for myself. I really would. You don't know until you're removed from it and you can reflect on it, but you know, those last 3-4 years, I don't think that I was in the environment and the headspace to have my highest performances. I was there, I was working my tail off, all that was the same, but you know, I spent a career of stressing and it served me well. But where I am now, I want to savor. I want to experience this. I want to enjoy this. I'm not sure I'll have a chance to do this next year. This might be my one shot at the Indianapolis 500.
Here we go, man. Let's go, baby. That's what it's all about. I'm so excited.
Drivers, start your engines. This is the Indianapolis 500. The field already spread. Scott Dixon, the pole man, will lead them into turn 1.
They're spread wide, but they are stacked deep.
Jimmie Johnson in his first 500 had a very nervous moment on the opening lap.
Indeed he did. Looking back for Johnson, there he is, the blue car with the neon yellow trim. Big gap between VK and Alex Palou, just got loose. Wow, fireball as the gearbox explodes, dumps probably all the oil out.
Rinus VK, the first retirement.
Pit stops happening. Jimmie Johnson on pit road, the 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion coming down pit road.
Oh, and take a look, there's going to be a yellow light. You see it come on.
Yep.
This is very much going to change the structure of his race.
We all look at what the history of yellows are, and we all kind of know where yellows potentially come out, but you never know until it comes out. There's no crystal ball here, so we just got caught on the wrong side of yellow.
Oh, Callum Ilott, big crash inside at the exit of turn 2.
The Juncos Hollinger rookie is out of the Indy 500. Romain Grosjean crashes out of the Indianapolis 500. Wow, that is big. Fourth yellow for a fourth crash. It is Scott McLaughlin. The field has been jumbled. This is now starting to turn.
13 laps to go. On board with Johnson as he woes it up in turn 3 for a pit. Maybe Jimmie Johnson will lead a lap at the Indy 500. He stays out. Why not?
And Johnson clocks a lap led. Jimmie Johnson in the pits from the lead of the race, which gives Marcus Ericsson another shot at the point. Oh, crash! Jimmie Johnson in the wall! And this could change everything.
Marcus Ericsson's teammate, Jimmie Johnson. This will bring out the yellow with 6 to go.
Jimmie Johnson, we see him moving. That is one of the worst angles to hit.
But you know what? That nose cone structure did such a great job.
Marcus Ericsson wins the Indianapolis 500 in the most dramatic way.
You want to talk about mental fortitude. Think about what this driver just went through in the last 10 minutes.
What's up, guys?
You all right? Your hand okay?
Yeah. They're bloody, and they say they're not broken. They took x-rays, so we'll see. I don't know what happened. I mean, I guess a wind gust or something. I had not had that balance issue all day. And really, before I got to the corner, the thing was spinning around and gone. So it's certainly not the way I want to finish the race. I did get to see the end. Yeah, he did a hell of a job holding those guys off. And I'm not sure what his lead was prior to my crash, but if he didn't win and had a nice, healthy lead, I would be feeling pretty right now. All the drivers here in IndyCar have welcomed me. There are just more moments to build that bond and friendship amongst the drivers. You know, it just means so much more to me, especially, 46 years old, near the end of my, professional driving career, if you will, to have these meaningful relationships. That's what I'm going to reflect back on the most and love.
My hands all beat up again.
Oh, jeez. Dude, you gotta stop street fighting in that thing.
They said it was broken. It took x-rays and everything, but they're all beat up, so.
We definitely had some setbacks today, and that happens in racing. Certainly, disappointed from those setbacks. We kept working on the car balance and pit lane and seemed to help ourselves a little bit. Just couldn't make a pass. So that part was pretty frustrating.
That's crazy out there, right?
It is.
Like, yeah, all the right up. I mean, all the craziness off the starts.
I mean, it's bittersweet. It's great for the team. Every single member on this team has worked on every single car at some point. So it's a true team effort. It isn't, 8 team, 9 team. It's one team, and everybody should be proud of what they've achieved. So we'll move on, and we'll try to get a different number to win next year. As long as it's in our camp, that's all that matters. Well, you got a lot to be proud of, man. Keep your head up.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, you really do. Guess what? We can do it again next year.
We can.